So I've had a lot of friends ask me about my electric horns, how they work, and what's the difference between them. I play a lot of different synthesized wind drivers. And all of the wind drivers that I play, I've set them up for the same fingerings. This is called the Morrison digital trumpet. It uses trumpet fingerings, but I'm revealing the secret right now. I'm letting you see my left hand. If I was to play this way, you wouldn't be seeing what's going on here in my left hand. Now what's going on in my left hand is it's changing octaves. So what a trumpet player usually does with his lip, I'm doing with my left hand. Other than that, I'm doing basic trumpet fingerings, only I'm playing the trumpet fingerings that you would play in the lower octaves before you shifted up into the higher notes for alternate fingerings for trumpet players that are looking at this. Now I have some real purist friends. I have a wonderful, amazing jazz trumpet player who's a good friend of mine who's always teasing me about playing all my Tinker toys here. And he always tells me, he says, you know, I'm never going to like that as much as I like a trumpet. And I have explained to him that the whole thing that's cool about these horns is that up to now, until wind drivers came in, only the keyboard players got to have the fun with all of the sounds and all the different synthesizers. When you play these wind drivers, you get the opportunity to have access to all the same sounds that a keyboard player has, but now you can do it with a trumpet player or a saxophone player's fingerings. Now, also the thing that you just saw on that digital trumpet, this is one of the first horns I ever played back in the 80s. It's called an VI Steiner. And it has this canister that moves up and down the octaves, and you press this button to get kind of the fourth and the fifth. Now again, it's trumpet fingerings. But again, I'm switching the octaves with the canister. Now, as I was just saying, you can use trumpet fingerings or you can use saxophone fingerings. On this horn, I can set this up to use the trumpet fingerings or the saxophone fingerings. Again, because I've been playing the Steiner and the Morrison digital trumpet for a very long time, I'm used to those fingerings, the trumpet fingerings I was talking about. So I set even the EVI, which can be played by a saxophone player, up like I set up my other horns, and you can do that. Now you saw me changing the octaves with buttons and the digital trumpet with the canister on my VI Steiner back in the day. This one has rollers, and as you roll your thumb up and down the rollers, you get different octaves. So that's how this one works. They're all similar, and they're switching the octaves in a very similar way. Now, I had to use a button on the canister of this one, as I was talking about before. So you might say, well, how would that work on this EVI? Well, what I do here is I'm still playing the same trumpet fingerings that I was playing on the other two horns here in my right hand. Instead of having that button that I was pushing, what I have is I have these fingers on these three notes right here, and I either play these three notes down or these two notes down, back and forth like this, which still works like that button on the canister. So it's still the same fingerings. And just like I used those 3 fingers on the EVI, this is the Rolling Aerophone XE10. It's my newest tinker toy, as my buddy would call it. Same thing. I'm still playing all the trumpet fingerings here. On this and the EVI, there's, I think, 4 or 5 different fingerings you could choose. You could choose to use it as flute fingerings, as an actual electric wind instrument, EVI fingerings, trumpet fingerings, or saxophone fingerings. This one, its big claim to fame is this one and the EVI are the ones that are most suited for saxophone players because it's got all these side keys. And this one is supposed to feel more like a saxophone than any of them. I do play a bit of sax, but again, I've been so used to those trumpet fingerings for so long on my scales and patterns that that's what I've gravitated to, even on this horn. On this one, the octaves are happening from buttons that you're pushing down here. You put your thumb in the middle and you rock it up here, rock it down there, or go up to here. And then you get different notes. I mean, different octaves. So. That's how that works. So there you have it. Those are most of my electric horns. I have one more. I have a actual Steiner that's MIDI. The ones that I showed you are analog synths. But that one's not working right, so I'm not going to show it in this video. You'll see it in other videos. I'll also take all of these instruments and do a video coming up of me playing in the same song all of these different horns, just so you can kind of hear them now that you know how the fingerings work. So that'd probably be the next video that I do right after this one.